Brother, sister, pastor, got one for you. What impact has your preaching had on the way your ministry operates Monday through Saturday? Okay, I've got another one for you. How do you know that there's impact? I tell you, I've always been enamored by pastors who could really preach, who were profound preachers. But then I learned that they also had ministries with longevity and evidence of impact. What I learned was that after Sunday, as profound as they were in the pulpit on Sunday, they were just as profound as administrators Monday through Saturday. They had administrative skills. Go figure that. They had administrative skills along with great preaching skills. They had administrative skills. Administrative skills, I've learned, are crucial for the church pastor to effectively lead their congregation and ensure the growth and sustainability of the church. In this time together, let's talk about your role as pastor and the impact of your administrative skills on your ministry. So ponder this. I was reading a story in an article published by Backstory Preaching, and it set up right up front that priorities from one pastor to another vary greatly. And it identifies two pastors, two types of pastors. The first type of pastor was the preaching specialist, one who spends all of their out of the pulpit time honing the craft of preaching. The preaching specialist is hands down dynamic in synthesizing and presenting the word of God like none other. But unfortunately, they spend so much time developing their preaching skill that the administrative needs of the ministry are sometimes neglected. The other pastor that the article mentions is the ministry generalist. This is the one who divides their time out of the pulpit between preaching, preparation, and administratively developing the ministry. The ministry generalist prepares a sound message, but is undeniably an expert at managing the administrative components of church leadership. They're experts at assessing the needs of their congregation, experts at strategically planning how to meet the needs of the ministry, and experts at seamlessly evaluating the impact of their ministry. Big question, which are you? Are you a preaching specialist? Are you a ministry generalist? Either way, understand that the intent of a pastor's role in leading discipleship and preaching and teaching and administrating should be impact. If pastors are to successfully overcome the enormous challenges that ministry is faced with today and make a positive impact in communities, they must couple their preaching prowess with their ability to confidently lead strategic planning in the community, lead community collaborations, and communicate effectively, even watch this, even when ministry is interrupted. Hear this, come a little closer. A pastor's administrative skills are essential and directly affect the sustainability of the church and its ability to effectively serve its members and the broader community. Reverend, what are you talking about? Listen, clear communication skills are essential for a pastor to articulate the church's vision, the church's values, the church's goals, not just to the congregation, but to community leaders and partner organizations and even other churches to collaborate on outreach and community initiatives. A pastor with strong organizational skills can set up efficient administrative processes right within the church, like building strong leadership teams, implementing effective record-keeping systems, organizing church events and activities, and ensuring that the church's policies and procedures are well-defined and followed. In response to the dynamic and enormous changes in our community and the needs that are arising due to demographic shifts, a pastor with strong adaptability and change management skills can assess the evolving needs of the congregation, the changing needs of the surrounding community, and adjust ministry programs and outreach efforts accordingly. Need you to lean in one more time. You good? The absence of a pastor's administrative skills or their disregard directly affects the sustainability of the church. Whoa, the absence of a pastor's administrative skills or ignoring the need for administrative skills has a direct impact on whether or not the church lives or not. There's a direct impact on whether the church will sustain itself or not. A pastor lacking administrative skills cripples the ministry's capacity to effectively serve its members and the broader community. It ultimately takes a negative toll on the pastor's leadership. Not only does it take a negative toll on the pastor's leadership, but it takes a negative toll on the pastor's desire to lead. And here's what I mean by that. A pastor without strong decision-making skills, might struggle to prioritize the allocation of the church budget. That's going to lead to financial mismanagement, insufficient funding for critical ministries, or even inability to invest in necessary church infrastructures. Without strong risk management skills, a pastor might overlook financial vulnerabilities like improving budgets or even the lack of financial controls, leading to financial instability, potential, and even fraud, or even legal compliance issues that are brought onto the church. A lack of strong talent development skills can result in stunting the growth and empowerment of church staff and volunteers, leading to disengagement, turnover, trust, and the lack of leadership pipeline within the church. Brothers and sisters, listen. Administrative skills are crucial for the church pastor to effectively lead the congregation and ensure the growth and sustainability of the church. The consequences of delaying the attainment of these skills or the continuous development of these skills will lead to a decline in the effectiveness of your leadership. It will lead to a lack of support for critical ministry initiatives. It will lead to a diminished congregational engagement. It will lead to organizational disarray. It will lead to a vulnerability to risk, and it will lead to a lack of morale within the church and trust by the community. And so you might say, Dr. C, how do I develop my administrative skills? I'm glad you asked. The first thing you want to do is to identify one administrative skill that you know there's room for. You've been dancing around it, and you know whether it is strategic planning, you know whether it is a collaboration, whether it's conflict resolution, whether it's effective communication. You know that one skill where there's room for improvement. So identify that one skill. Number two, engage with other leaders who demonstrate a competency and confidence in that very skill. There are some dynamic pastors who have mastered where in the areas that you need help. Just by engaging with them, watching how they man the ship, watching how they operate, you will gain insight to develop that skill of your own. But then finally, I challenge you to invest in your own training. Find a coach, get a trainer to develop that skill. Listen, every effective pastor is not only a spiritual leader, but also an effective administrator, bringing order to the church's mission. Brother pastor, sister pastor, the best way to impact others is to focus on developing yourself.